Education is critical to the holistic development of a person. At school, a student learns not only mathematics, language, science, and whatnot. Here, they also learn about philosophy, arts, discipline, and the right mindset, especially so in higher education institutions. That is why it's also very important for an educational institution, particularly universities and colleges, to be managed and led properly, with quality education and service given to its clientele, the students. In this episode, we sit down with the country's premier leader-educator, the current president of the Holy Angel University, Dr. Luis Calingo. Dr. Luis Calingo has decades of experience as an educator under his belt, not just in the Philippines, but overseas as well. He was a dean at the College of Business Administration and Boller School of Business in California State University and John Carroll University, respectively. For more than 5 years, he served as the Executive Vice President and Chief Academic Officer at Dominican University of California. At Woodbury University, he sat as president. Now he took all his experiences in education to give back to his home as he leads Holy Angel University through the pandemic. Let's meet the man of the hour, Dr. Luis Calingo. Welcome to the program, Dr. Calingo.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
I am really grateful that you finally accepted this invitation. Did you imagine yourself running an educational institution or teaching for that matter?
When I was in grade school, when I was in high school, when I was in college, I had great teachers who had an impact on me. But there were probably more teachers who I did not like than teachers who I liked. And so putting myself in their shoes was not really something na iniisip ko nung bata pa. But I felt that when I started working right after college, I was placed in situations when I had to explain or I had to impart knowledge to colleagues in training programs and so on. So that's when I started seeing myself as possibly going to be a teacher someday.
What sort of things did you enjoy doing back then?
I was preparing computer programs, okay, to facilitate the analysis of proposals, of project proposals. I was developing strategic plans or corporate plans for our organization. So those are the things that I was doing at that time. And then, of course, on the side, I was helping farmers cooperatives build management systems, set up accounting systems for them, setting up procedures for them. That really flows from my undergraduate preparation as an industrial engineer. So we were pretty much trained to do those kinds of things.
Yung training nyo pang ano talaga, papuntang CEO?
Sort of. Well, I'm part of this alumni group of industrial engineers sa UP, and a good number of us of my colleagues are CEOs. I'm talking about the former Secretary of Public Highways, si Babe Singson, was an industrial engineer. So yung mga ganun ba? Si Boy de la Peña, the DOST Secretary, was one of my professors in industrial engineering. So I think part of our training was actually in analyzing and managing complex systems. And an organization, by definition, is a complex system. Also, a university is a very complex system.
Yes.
The most complex organization that I have seen.
So, you studied and prepared yourself to run a business.
Yes, in a way, yes.
In a way, yes. But universities, particularly the Holy Angel University, is a non-stock, non-profit. Is there a difference really between running a real business? When I say a real business, a for-profit enterprise and a non-stock, non-profit enterprise like a university, particularly the Holy Angel University?
I would say there's practically no difference. The only difference is that the net income of Holy Angel University do not go to individuals, whereas in private for-profit businesses, they go to the stockholders, okay, in the form of dividends and so on. Our net income goes straight into the retained earnings, into the reserves of the university. So other than that, there is no difference because a university is very mission driven. We're driven by our mission to educate. In Holy Angel, to transform students into persons of conscience, competence, and compassion. So that's a mission part. But you cannot pursue your mission without money. So mission and money, they go together. So you need to be operationally excellent. So financial sustainability is important to us. Being able, we charge, comparatively speaking, Holy Angel University charges low tuition. It's lower than our peers. We consider the universities in Manila as our peers in terms of quality of our programs. And our tuition that we charge is lower than them. And it's important for us to be able to collect our revenues because otherwise we have to meet payroll, okay? Those kinds of things. We have to pay our bills. So we're like just any other business. We have revenues, we have expenses, and we need to make sure that expenses do not exceed our revenues. So that's pretty much standard in any business, and so with universities.
So in the case of Holy Angel University, walang yumayaman na individual. Is that what you're saying, sir?
That is the difference, kasi we're very mission-driven. I believe higher education is a public good. It's a social good. It serves a public purpose. Kapag ginawa mo siya kasing parang private investment, parang ginawa mong pagkakakitaan, parang there's something wrong with that. There's just something wrong with that equation. Of course, many people will disagree with me. Many of my colleagues, especially those working for the private for-profits, will disagree with me. No? Pero I think that education itself should never be a business in the sense that it's to generate wealth for individuals.
Yeah. But why a Catholic university? Your background is you've been CEO, president of so many universities, colleges in the United States for the longest time, I would say. And some of them were not Catholic universities, but I saw one which I think is more or less Catholic oriented, the Dominican University.
Dominican University was Catholic. John Carroll University is a Jesuit university. So that was my first Catholic university. And then I went to Dominican. And then the first presidency that I had was a non-Catholic university. And then Holy Angel. There is a history there. Kasi about 20 years ago, I had a major illness. That had a 23% recovery rate. And I was one of those 23%. And so I said at that point in time, I made the commitment to myself that the next universities where I would spend my life would be a Catholic university. And so when I took early retirement from the California State University system, when I was dean at that time, I decided to join John Carroll University, which is a Jesuit University of Cleveland in Ohio. And that's also, I think, in consideration of or in honor of my parents. My parents were very devout Catholics. They named me after Saint Louis Marie de Montfort, which is the patron saint of the Rosary. So, and that attests to their Marian devotion. My grade schooling was at San Sebastian College de Recoletos. So I was schooled in a Catholic environment. When I was at UP High School, We had optional religious classes, and I attended those. They were being taught by the Jesuits. So that Catholic orientation was pretty much part of my upbringing when I was in school. And so it's a matter of extending that commitment to our faith. And Catholic education is probably one of the most important apostolates of the Catholic Church. Why do I say that? Because we are evangelizing, we are part of the evangelizing mission of the church. We are charged with forming the minds, forming the spirits of our students. Okay? And so I think that is a noble mission. And so that's why I attach myself to Catholic higher education since then.
I want to go back a bit to universities run by congregations and the Holy Angel University, which is not run by a congregation or owned by the Catholic or run by the Catholic Church. Is there a difference between the two?
My short answer is yes and no. Okay, the part that there's no difference is we are all Catholic universities. Well, have to be designated as Catholic universities by the bishop. Okay, and by definition, yung mga congregational universities, they are Catholic universities by nature. And we are all bound by an apostolic document called Ex Corde Ecclesiae, which means from the heart of the church. Okay. It's yung parang apostolic constitution of all Catholic colleges and universities around the world. We are all bound by those norms. Okay? So that is what binds all of us. Okay? Kaya lang iba-iba siyempre yung mga congregations, they have their own charisms. Okay? Like the Jesuits, yung charism nila, yung sinasabing to be a woman, a man for others, yung palagi natin naririnig. Yung mga Dominicans, we talk about their value of contemplation naman pagdating sa kanila. So, ang difference lang sa isang independent Catholic university like Holy Angel, we do not have a charism like that was handed down to us by the founder of the congregation, who is typically a saint. So, yung sinasabi naming angel-like charism at Holy Angel, which we translated into developing people, developing our students into persons of conscience, competence, and compassion. That is our interpretation of the spirit of our founder, Don Juan Nepomuceno. So that's what we call a Holy Angel charism. It's the commitment to developing our students into those types of persons. And so that is now embedded in all of our curricula. Our courses na ino-offer namin, we have to somehow demonstrate that this course contributes to the development of those types of persons. So, in that sense, magkakapareho din kami ng mga Ateneo, na Lasal, UST, the other Catholic congregational universities. There are 36 or 37 Catholic universities in the Philippines. I think only 2 are non-congregational or non-diocesan. Okay? Holy Angel University and of course Angeles University Foundation. And they're both located here in Angeles City. Samantalang in the United States, it's the other way around. Nearly all of them are run by lay presidents.
What brought you to the United States? Why did you choose to stay there for so long and run all these colleges and universities? And then after a while, return to the Philippines.
The Philippine government awarded me scholarships. I've been an scholar ng bayan since high school. Okay? I went to UP High School, College of Engineering, and then my first 2 my master's degrees, including my MBA. I got my own scholarship for the PhD. And rather than returning to the Philippines, I decided to begin my academic career in the US. And I chose the teaching track, and I joined the California State University system, which is the second largest university system in the US. And I joined the Fresno campus. Yung Fresno campus is like the UP Los Baños. It's the agricultural campus of that system. You see my passion for rural development there. I did not go to the big cities. So I did that kasi that was around the time when Senator Ninoy Aquino was assassinated.
Oh,
And
okay.
my professors at that time told me that I would be wasting my career, all my studies, if I go back to the Philippines. And then from there, I became an administrator, MBA program director, dean. Sometime back in 2012, of course, 2012, then I was elevated to the presidency, which is the highest that you can aspire for anyway in academia in the US. And that was important to me personally because dalawa lang kaming presidente noon na Pilipino eh. So we were able to pierce that bamboo ceiling. And so I think that's an accomplishment in itself. And so at some point in time, the call of returning to the Philippines has been on my mind, especially I know that I have a moral obligation to return. The people of the Philippines funded my studies from high school all through my graduate programs. So I decided that when the search consultant of Holy Angel University reached out to me at that point, that was around 2014. So I decided it's time for me to go home. And not only to go home, but to go home to the home province of my late father.
You practically grew up in the United States because mula kolehiyo hanggang nag-PhD, hanggang sa nagpatakbo kayo ng mga universities. Tapos it was only in 2014, di ba, when you decided to return to the Philippines and run the Holy Angel University. I would say na may pagka-Amerikano na kayo, di ba?
You're right. I spent most of my life in the US. I think I was there for 35 years before I decided to return. That's more than half of my life,
Yeah.
And so there are certain work norms, like part of the work ethic na I already acquired nasa American ako. Like I have very low. There are some, baka magalit sa akin yung mga kasama ko dito sa Holy Angel, if I say. But one thing that I still am adjusting to, okay, is the need to follow up.
Okay.
The need to follow up. Kasi when I was back in the States, kasi alam mo mga Amerikano, mas straightforward yan eh. Pag may pinangako yan, at sinulat niya yung pangako niya, lalo na kung sinulat pa niya, put it in writing. Consider it done. So, hindi mo na kailangan pang follow up mo kung ano nangyari.
Follow up,
And it had been like that even before I left for the US noon eh. Alam ko na kailangan magpa-follow up ka palagi. Ito, yung culture na yan, mukhang hindi na nawala. Kasama pa rin yun sa culture natin. So, that I still am adjusting to that, I have to say. So, I still am adjusting. There are certain things that I really like about Filipino culture, about our sense of faith. That is something that I really admire.
Yeah.
Na hindi lahat ng mga nangyayari sa atin, mga achievements natin ay because only of our own efforts. Na meron din gumagabay sa atin para mangyari yan. So, ang mga Amerikano does not necessarily believe in that. Do not necessarily believe in that. They think because of their individualist, and I'm not saying individualist from a pejorative standpoint, that's just part of the culture. From their individualist standpoint, it's their achievement. Sila yung sigawa nun. So, and sometimes I have to caution even my children, even my daughters, because they were raised in that kind of environment na eh. Yung sila may gawa nun. So that, yung kakayahan yung yan, may pinanggalingan yan. Hindi lang nag-aaral sa yan.
I have so many questions to ask. Siguro ang gusto kong itanong sa inyo at this point is your take on education amidst the pandemic. Ano nakikita ninyo sa edukasyon natin at saan tayo po patungo ngayon?
I can tell you realistically where we think what is most likely to happen realistically.
Okay.
Siyempre yung ideal, yung makakabalik na yung mga estudyante natin on campus. And actually, and that's important kasi nalaman na rin natin ngayon ano ba yung limitations ng online learning.
Yes.
How can you be a real engineer kung hindi mo naman nahawakan yung mga equipment na yan, hindi mo naman napaandar yan? And you need to be on campus. How can you be a nurse if you have not been to a hospital to actually help in the care of patients? So the face-to-face instruction is very important too. But at the same time, we also recognize that even if Holy Angel University is declared to be safe, okay, by the government authorities. By the way, we can brag that we've been considered as a role model of a socially distanced campus. Binisita tayo ng CHED
Congratulations.
last year.
Congratulations.
And I think you were there, CLTV 36
Yes,
covered
yes,
that visit.
we covered that.
So pagdating sa ganyan, we're ready to open, ano? So, but I also realized na our students and their parents are probably going to be very, very hesitant to go to campus despite such pronouncements. That it is very conceivable that if we open up next year, if you're allowed to offer face-to-face instruction next year, it's very conceivable that only 1 out of 4 students will actually show up on campus, and that the rest will still prefer to undergo online instruction. Whereas, ironically, this time last year, no one wanted to go online instruction, okay, until we actually ran all of these promotional materials, all of these videos, pretty much saying that this is how online instruction will look like. So it's okay to undergo online instruction. So where do I see us going? I think it will be about 2023, 2 years from now, when you could really see more online, more face-to-face instruction on campus. But will college instruction be exactly like what it was in 2019? I would say no.
No.
What's going to be the mode of instruction is going to be what we call hybrid. It's a combination of online as well as face-to-face. Face-to-face primarily for those experiences that cannot be replicated online. So I think that come 2023, that's going to be the predominant mode of instruction. Pagdating naman 2022, we'll probably have some limited face-to-face instruction going on now in universities. But it's only by 2023 when I see students as having the confidence to return to campus in total, yung in droves. Okay? So, by social distancing pa rin. So this year, this coming year, we're planning na we'll continue what we're doing. It's still purely online with the possibility of face-to-face instruction for our labs. Like yung mga engineering labs, yung mga hospitality tourism labs, yung mga nursing labs, yung mga IT. So,
I mean, the COVID-19 is a game changer, they said. Did this do anything for the better? I mean, for the better, insofar as educational system in the Philippines is concerned. Meron bang magandang nangyari sa atin?
I think if there is some benefit to COVID-19, and I hate to even say a benefit of a pandemic, if there is one good thing that happened, it accelerated the digital transformation of higher education institutions.
Exactly.
Ito ba ang ginagawa namin ngayon, yung merong learning management system that we can conduct classes online? Holy Angel has been talking about this since I arrived here, no, baka 2015 pa lang.
Yeah.
And it's not because we're expecting a pandemic. It's because of the spate of school closures because of typhoons, earthquakes, yung mga ganun ba, yung mga natural disasters. And then magka-cancel ka ng class. Then what do the students do? Sayang yung oras na yon, So education should not be interrupted. And so as early as 2016, we decided to go that route. And in 2019 that's when we decided, okay, we will implement a learning management system and we will face the implementation of it over 2 years. Of course, hindi naging 2 years. Naging total implementation noong August of last year. So if there's something good that happened because of COVID-19, it is that. the acceleration of our digital transformation, which is a step forward, okay? It can step backward. And so I think if you go back to purely face-to-face instruction, which is what we had in 2019, that is going to be, well, in concept, that to me is a step backward. Because
Yes.
now you know that the things that technology enables you, and then hindi mo gagamitin. So it's a step backward. Para kang wala natutunan as a result. And then the other thing is, if you go back to that mode, you do not know what's going to be the next epidemic or pandemic. I think the social distancing, yung mga 2 meters apart, yung mga ganyan, that will be for us to stay. And so if you go back to a campus like that, imagine the cost of retrofitting all of our campuses in order to make sure that it's a safe and healthy campus, prepared for the next pandemic.
As a parting message, Dr. Calingo, can you share with our audience a favorite quote for perhaps that you have that you see fit dito po sa pagtatapos ng ating conversation today? Please share that with us.
I can tell you the 2 quotes that we have in all of our meeting agenda of my leadership team. The first quote is, "We are all about students." That's very important to us. And the second is, "You can accomplish many great things in your life if you do not mind who takes the credit, or if you do not mind who gets the credit." So, and I live by those 2.
Thank you very much, Dr. Calingo, for accepting our invitation. Nakalasalamat po kayo.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. Stay safe, sir.